Can what kind be plural? Is it correct to say, what kind of patents are being issued in these sophisticated times? It seems like it should be what kind of patents is being issued, but that sounds wrong. What kind of patent is being issued is correct and sounds right, but loses a little bit of the original meaning. Is there something magic about what kind that allows it to be plural, or do people just misuse it a lot?
The problem is the word patents. What you want is, what kind of patent is being issued? It is singular because you are talking about the kind in the singular. You could pluralize as, what kinds of patent are being issued? So the problem is that you pluralize patents. That is that part that sounds strange. Update. Based on Barry's answer, I gave this a little more thought. I thought a little more analysis might be useful. The phrase, kind of patent, is a genitive structure where kind is the noun and patent is the restriction. To be clear, the basic purpose of the genitive is to place a restriction on the word to which it is applied. The word patent restricts kind. There are many kinds in the world, but the only kind we are interested in are ones that pertain to patents. Since patent is not the subject of the sentence, merely a qualifier on the actual subject, then it does not affect the verb conjugation for number. However, for the same reason, it is probably the case that it can be either plural or singular. It doesn't really matter in a sense. In one case, we are treating it as an uncountable, an abstract, and in the other as a countable, a concrete. A person who writes patents could be called a patent lawyer, but that doesn't mean he only deals with a single patent. I suppose he could also be called a patent lawyer, but that is not the idiom. I think the same applies in this case. However, in this specific case, because of the proximity of the genitive to the verb, it makes for a little confusion, and so, unless there is a good reason to the contrary, a singular seems the optimum choice here. To me, in the second case, what kinds of patents are? The proximity of the singular to the plural verb is less of a clash, but I recognize that views may differ on this.
Pam Peters examines this topic in some detail in The Cambridge Guide to English Usage. She considers the following two sentences. These kinds of problems are to be avoided. These kind of problems are to be avoided. The first, she writes, entails an abstract/non-countable use of the following noun, a problem, and helps to synthesize the discussion in argumentative and persuasive writing. Of the second, she writes that it is simply a more relaxed form of the full plural construction and tends to appear in interactive writing and live speech. If, then, your example appears, as seems likely, in a formal context, then what kinds of patent are being issued would probably be the one to go for.
Since the patents are being issued rather than the kinds, I would say that the correct phrasing is, what kind of patents are being issued? Note that if you were talking to a lawyer in a patent law firm where everybody was a specialist, you could ask, what kind of patents is your specialty? Because his specialty is a kind and not patents. Finally, since there is probably more than one kind of patent currently being issued, possibly an even better phrasing, depending on context, would be, what kinds of patents are being issued?
Is kind of patents ever correct? It's a bit informal. Kind of, plural noun, is surprisingly uncommon in formal writing, fairly uncommon even in journalism, but common in speech and fiction. She had the kind of eyes that followed you around the room. I'd thought that happened only with paintings. Fiction, but I don't think it faces the kind of problems, say, a Los Angeles does. Spoken, those kind of games tend to be tiebreakers with teams that are alike. Spoken. Does kind of patents take a singular or plural verb? Plural, almost always. This is like how a lot of people is plural. No one says a lot of people is upset about it. So it's what kind of patents are, not is. Is this the kind of thing where whatever option I choose, it's going to sound wrong to someone? Yes? Then is it best to just recast the sentence entirely? That's up to you. I probably would, unless the context was informal.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.